life is jujitsu.
I'm shutting mine off now.
What's good, party people? This is the Gym Crashers on Tuesday night. We've got John Arredondo, better known as Dondo, and some black guy from Beach Boulevard. Yeah, or according to Woods. What's good, party people? Thank you guys for joining us on another Tuesday night. Dondo, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Wonderful.
Beach Boulevard? I thought you were from Century Boulevard.
Oh, God. Shh. Silencio.
Silencio. El Silencio.
Yeah, man. That may or may not be true, but now there's a Chili's there, and that's where I met my wife. Anyway.
You met your wife at Chili's?
Let's extract that from the record. But how the fuck are you, good sir?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself, sir?
Man, it's a bunch of shit. Like, I went to a Comic-Con. That was the thing.
You know, I saw pictures from Comic-Con, and I saw people with enormous parts and all kinds of stuff. Did you see that?
It looked like gore.
Like, I like gore.
Yeah, but like none of the mutilation and shit.
Yeah.
And
what is it about? Tell me about Comic-Con. As people, I like comic books, but I don't think it's that anymore. It's other stuff.
People who like comic books and they get conned into buying a bunch of shit that they may or may not need.
But above and beyond that, people actually the dress up part of it. What do they call that, Robert?
Cosplay.
Cosplay. Okay.
Yeah, not.
Is that sexual or not sexual? Or it can be both.
I mean, it depends on the age demographic because there's kids dressed up as like Spider-Man or whatever, and I don't think.
Obviously that, but the adults dress like that, and it's a little funky, right?
Dude, there was like 80 different versions of Joker.
Joker's the big one right now.
Yeah, Joker. Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance was doing a fucking panel, and
Gerard.
Yeah.
Not Jared Leto.
No, that's the Joker guy, but like Gerard Way sang in My Chemical Romance, and that was they sang "I'm Not Okay, I Promise."
I see. They're very emotional.
Yeah, but apparently he does like comic book shit. So there's that.
So what did you get out of this? Did you dress up?
Fucking hell. Oh well, yeah. I was like the second black guy. Reneging from that auto commercial that I did.
I like that. Yeah, the Nissan guy. You're the Nissan dude.
Yeah.
The brokest black guy in all Orange County.
Damn right. Well, second.
Second brokest.
Yeah, because there's a guy named Justin, and he's out there. He's taller than me. Apparently broker. So.
Oh, Justin was my roommate.
So I'm the first broke black guy in the world.
What is he signed to?
Shout out to Justin.
Florida Pro Ball.
Pro Ball for Justin.
Wow.
We used to live together at Next Level, me and Justin. We were roommates.
Damn. Wait, there was a room that you guys shared?
Oh, yeah. You have no idea. We were on the same level, both second floor. I hear him crawling in the middle of the night.
Or the level before?
The second level.
Okay.
So if you were to dress up in this cosplay fashion, what would that be? What would be your idea? Is it Black Panther?
Silent Bob.
Silent Bob? How are you going to pull that off?
They had a panel too.
Robert,
yeah, they did. Dude, I fucking took a picture in front of the fucking...
Is that a thing, Jay and Silent Bob?
Yes, it's a fucking thing.
People watch it?
Shit, yeah, they did. I mean, I watched it.
See, I like the Flying Burrito Brothers. I like things like that.
What the fuck?
That's a comic book.
Manny Fernandez?
No, the comic book.
Okay.
It's a dirty comic book.
A dirty hominid?
You gotta see a dirty comic book. I gotta show you.
All right.
You're a dirty bonobo.
Okay, I'm a dirty Lenovo. Apparently, but
so you didn't pick a character. You did.
Yeah.
You said Silent Bob.
Yeah, I was supposed to be silent, which I never do.
But Silent Bob, is he like a white guy wearing a backwards cap? What does he do?
Yeah,
And that's a comic book character.
Yeah,
Is that cosplay?
I guess. I mean, fuck, I didn't really think it out, but that's the one I could pull off.
I think I'm gonna be Zorro, just because I could pull off Zorro.
What? So I can draw Z's in other men's chests?
Right? Well, it is, but he's brown. Can you think of another brown one? Choro. Oh, I like that. El Choro.
No. That's a monster.
Well, who would Robert be then?
Yeah, Polynesian Panda.
Yeah, no.
Like
Oh,
Kung
Fu Panda.
I was gonna say from Fortnite. There was like a purple panda in fucking.
No, he could be the panda from the kid one too, because he's kind of funny like that.
Oh.
What about our friend here, our live CBD? What could he be? Who's bald in Mexican?
Man.
Oh, he could do Coco from Disney.
Which is Coco.
Right? Come here, Coco.
Or Coco was also that Jane Goodall gorilla.
I don't know about that. Oh, yeah. She was in the woods with him. Yeah. In the forest.
Yeah, that was the original.
Wow, that's amazing. You remember that.
It may not be related to at all.
No?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Was that in Papua New Guinea? Maybe you are related. I don't know if they have
Different
gorillas there.
island.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Island, I think that's a Melanesian.
I got-
island,
it-
Micronesian.
it's true.
Yeah, we can't get our Nesians fucked up.
No, no, no.
What's up, my Nesian?
I don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But there's like a bunch of fucking fight shit, right?
Yeah. Did you watch fights from the Comic Con, or is that something you do after? Or do people at Comic Con at all watch fights or are interested in it?
No, but like there was definitely like a little anime. I guess that's what you call it, Japanese animation.
Yeah, anime.
Like a bunch of gals like fucking fighting over ramen.
We called it Japanimation in the 90s, and then they changed it to anime.
Animation.
Right? Back in the day, but then it was a misnomer. It was wrong. It's kind of like having a Cleveland Indian on your hat. It's not going to be around anymore.
Oof.
Right?
Damn, we went
Washington Redskins. What are they going to call them? Washington Brownskins? I mean, I'm just curious. What is the world coming to?
I don't know, man.
Right?
I mean, shit. I went by my old middle school, and it used to be called the Crozier Incas,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's like the Crozier Bulldogs, and I'm like,
Why did they change it? We have Los Angeles Angels. That's the Angels to Angels.
but I think angels are
That makes
like
sense.
a divine deity versus.
But
like,
it's twice. Los Angeles is the Angels. The Angels. Los Angeles
isn't
Angels.
it Anaheim Angels?
No, it's Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Really?
LA Angels.
That's a double negative.
It's a triple. We got all kind of weird things going on, right? It was used to be California Angels when I was a kid.
What the
Right?
fuck? There's a big.
I know we
Did
disappeared.
I just turn into an angel?
I don't know what the A is. The
I
big A.
God.
It's the wrong color. He put it in Dodger colors.
Yeah. oof.
Robert's looking for hate mail.
Yeah. I don't. got
I think
really
we
bad at this.
disappeared, but
Yeah.
it's okay. Sound is what is important on these things.
Okay,
You
that's
know.
fine. But
It's all right, Robert.
a couple like fight sports related things happening in the world of.
Well, I'm just curious if the stream's still going, so let's check this real quick. But yeah, Fight World I want to go into, but before we do that, I'm likely to be into wrestling or MMA.
Well, there were wrestlers from WoW,
And we're still going. Our screen isn't showing us here, but we are live and doing our thing here, me and Mr. Woods.
Yeah.
Oh no, the big A's on there, Robert.
Big A.
Yeah, we
Big son
disappeared.
for asshole.
So we're gonna do this as a radio show. Adam's gonna take his clothes off right now.
Oh yeah.
He's dropping them. He's not wearing underwear.
Yeah, I've got
Right?
full commando, like Sergeant Slaughter style.
That's it.
Actually, I need
He's he is too buku for me. Too buku.
Two.
Yeah, look at that. He speaks in clicks too.
There you go. Okay. But we should.
You want to talk about fights?
While we can't be seen, we should shout out a member of our posse that is not here today.
Who's posse? Oh yes, give him a shout out. That skinny
Yes.
bastard,
Yeah. Shout out to
Santana Hosa.
Mr. Santana Hosa and Mrs. Santana Hosa.
I like that.
As they went on their birthday anniversary, and they got covered in
Girth Day. We call it Joey Girth Day.
Joey Girth Day. But we're
Some people celebrate Earth Day. For Joey, we celebrate the Girth Day.
okay because it's all about the width, not the length.
Well, if we got to use what you got. Thank you, Woods, for making that analogy.
It's a barge that.
We're going to start back up in just a moment. So a white girl in here because we are dark.
Don't say that, dude. No.
Well, someone to break up the Oreo cookie that we're about to create here. We need that.
So, hi.
Well, you know, mocha frappuccino. I like to think.
That's
I'm a
good.
caramel frappuccino, right?
Yeah.
And he's a dark chocolate whipped.
Yes, I am. Anyway, but let's
Mr. Spicy.
Let's shout out the Santana Hosas.
Yes. So Joey and Mindy Santana Hosa.
Yes, they
Right.
are on the.
They're on their
Happy-
18th churro to mark their 20th anniversary.
I was gonna say they're feeding each other grapes
Happy Girth Day.
in the vein of like Lucille Ball. And
Oh, could you see a grape being thrown into Joey's mouth? It gets lost, falls in his belly button, missing forever.
Turns into
You got to get like a scuba suit to go get the
Joey,
grape.
I went clean with this. Mindy, I went clean with this. It's this fucking guy.
Well, you can make wine. That thing's going to rot in there, right? Ferment, and then you drink it right out of his belly button, right? We'll take the Santana Hosa Vintage.
Trust the process.
so we know what Dante's
Whoa.
going to be doing this weekend. Apparently.
Well, apparently that goes with some really good cheese, right? That wine.
What the one that Danilo farted before we went on air?
Whoa, I don't talk about that guy. That's all you. He's got a temper.
Oh, God.
Santana Hosa is very forgiving. The other guy, not so much.
Uh-oh.
Good luck to you. He might be watching. He's sitting in his car right now eating the Snickers that Robert gave him. That's what he does. Malice in chains. Watch out.
I'm gonna plead the fifth, but shit.
So we were talking cosplay. We were talking Comic-Con. I don't know if you saw the first segment, but Adam Woods was lively and active at, was it LA Comic-Con?
Yeah, it was LA Comic Con on the Sunday edition.
Sunday edition.
So I didn't get to see like some of my friends. So I've got friends that wrestle for a while. Like,
Is there a Fijian superhero? Who do they look up on the island of all the islands of Fiji? What is their superhero? Who do they worship?
Besides
Jesus.
Besides that, that's who the missionaries brought.
Jisoo, and then whoever.
Because Robert's people, they got Loki and they got Pele and they got all kind of shit.
We don't have any of that. We
No?
don't have any volcanoes to make shit cool.
Well, I find that hard to believe. They have to worship something.
Jisoo.
Who's the most famous Fijian in the world besides you now on air?
Jimmy Snuka?
I don't even know who that is. Jimmy.
VJ Singh?
Oh, VJ Singh. That's it. That's it. That's a fact.
Wow, this guy. No sell on the Jimmy Snuka, but fucking VJ Singh.
Everybody knows VJ Singh. He's Tiger Woods' buddy.
Is he?
Yeah, they play golf.
He's Indo-Fijian.
Whatever. There you go.
Yeah. Anyway.
Indian, Fijian.
something.
He's something. I know. My dad. He's something.
My mom changed that dude's
I was
diaper.
dying over
Yeah.
there. Is that true?
Yeah.
Are you lying to me?
For real.
Then what happened to all that golf skill? You didn't play golf with him?
No, he's playing in the senior tour the last I saw. Like
You-
I was getting drunk at a bar or something, and I was like, oh shit, this fucker's still doing it. And then I left in an Uber. So there's that.
Got it. Got it. We're going to have a kava ceremony for Adam's birthday this next year. So
Fuck, my insides are going to
I think that people that want to be a part of Gym Crashers, we'll give you CBD afterwards to rub all over your body and feel good. But we're
Yeah,
going to
to
do a
make the
kava
fucking
ceremony, right?
shit go
Make the
away.
pain go away. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Man, because that's some pain that
Can
you
we
can't
do
feel.
that? Can we do
Yeah,
that?
dude? I mean,
What's your birthday?
May.
Oh, May. It's coming up. Okay, so Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. It's like 2 days after that.
Is it?
But
Okay.
yeah. As our
You're gonna-
producer's trying to look at videos smuggling contraband.
No, he actually is doing production. He's trying to keep these cameras going for once. So I like that. It's a good thing. Robert's really a professional. He keeps these things going. So we respect him and love that. I think Robert, if he were a superhero, he would be Maui from the Disney movie
Moana?
Moana.
And so you're trying to say...
Isn't Maui the buff one? Isn't that The Rock?
The
That's Robert. Robert, your cosplay outfit is Maui.
Dude, Manolo Hernandez from Team Hurricane Awesome trains Liz Carmouche and Elimile McFarland.
I like Elimile.
Yeah, and so...
She's a true champion.
Well, their coach...
Oh, big boy. I love that guy.
Yeah, Manolo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Manolo dressed up...
Chut that pizza chip Manolo. Remember that?
No.
It's from, yeah, we all know that, right?
Okay. But anyway...
I ain't gonna shoot you.
I think him and... It was either for... Yeah, it was for Illumine's fight for Bellator. One of her fights for Bellator, I think last year or the year before last.
He dressed like Maui?
Yeah, he was Maui and she was Moana.
I love that. That's
Yeah,
Robert and his
for
wife.
Wayans.
You should do that for Halloween with your wife, Robert. Maui and Moana. That would be dope. Or Maui and Mulan. That would work.
Ooh.
For Robert, that would work.
Wait, that's two different
I know, he's crossing over.
What, like he's kicking the bucket? Or
Yeah, you know,
what?
yeah,
Fuck,
yeah,
man,
yeah.
He's right here. Got-
He's a Disney crossover, my friend, my friend.
Not.
How about your wife? She's Filipino, so who could she be? Who's
She would
Mrs.
be-
Spicy? Chime in and tell us what character you'd like to be for cosplay.
Gatorade. She's supposed to be here.
God, he said Gatorade.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, she might be here.
Oh, we would love her to come up. Come on up, Mrs.
Yeah,
Spicy.
She's probably hiding from me.
It's her birthday. It's her birthday week. She looks
Yeah.
25.
Absolutely. 24.
Adam robbed the cradle when he met her. Here she is right now.
Oh, shit. Hey.
She wants to find out what Adam
Get-
did all weekend at the
she's coming
cosplay place.
in. She's coming in.
It is Mrs.
Yeah.
Spicy. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Come on
absolutely.
camera, Mrs. Spicy, for your birthday.
Uh,
Come on.
Yeah.
No?
Say.
Yeah? Can we give you a
Yeah.
microphone?
Hi.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Hi.
This is it. The real deal.
There.
Scoot
There
over
you
so
go.
your wife can be in the middle.
Oh, yeah. In the middle?
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
All right. Let's do it.
Told you she's not imaginal.
Yeah, see? Was it-
When she watches this, she's going to be blown away. Here, give her this.
Wait, who's blowing?
She's going to be
You
blown
mentioned
away
my
by the
wife and
fact.
then blowing?
No,
What the
but
fuck?
I would never do that.
Anyway.
We were talking about you, and you appeared. I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was looking.
You got to
Oh,
speak
no,
in
this
the
is
mic.
crazy. It's okay.
It's
She's
others.
soft-spoken. It's okay. We got this.
Yeah.
What happened? You killed us? You killed Sean?
We killed Sean.
Oh, we're just a little. I don't mind if we're off kilter as long as we're on here. So it's no
Yeah.
big deal. We were a minute ago. We were the Big A from the Dodger Stadium.
Yes, and now we're not so Dodger Stadium.
So this is Mrs. Spicy. She's now 25 years old.
Yeah.
Almost old enough for Adam. Almost.
Almost.
She's a cradle robbing man.
Yes, absolutely.
They make a really sexy couple. Look at these two.
Am
There's
I?
magic in this room.
She's, yeah. Can you feel the love tonight?
That's right.
Yes.
There, yes?
Yes.
There we go.
How many years married now?
In dog years or what?
No, just in general.
13?
Wow.
13?
And you got babies and grandkids
Yeah, and one grandkid.
and cosplay
Yeah.
going on, all
Well,
kind of stuff.
There's gray in this beard. I'm just saying.
So I told
It's
him,
not-
I told
not
him that
fun.
you should be Moana, and maybe he should be for cosplay. What do you think he should dress up as?
Adam?
Yeah. What do you think? What do you see
What
him
am I
as?
going to cosplay
What
as,
kind of
honey?
character do you see him as?
Payaso.
Well,
Donkey.
what's that thing you have in the closet? With the red hair.
Adam's got something in the closet.
With red hair.
What is
Oh
that?
my goodness!
Those little babies.
Oh my God!
What
Adam.
babies do you have in your closet,
What's
Adam?
going on at the Woods house?
What is coming out of the
What is
closet
that?
today?
Woods? What's going
What is
on?
that cartoon?
Holy moly! Are you playing Bill
Rugrats,
Cosby?
Chucky from Rugrats.
Rugrats.
Oh, I
Alright,
like
Right?
Chucky.
Right?
Yeah, and you just gave it up, so it got to be something else.
That's all good.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Did
show
you go to Comic Con?
Big head. No.
Oh, okay. I wanted to know more about it, but
No.
not your thing.
No. Just didn't go.
Okay. Well, how about the birthday? How did that go?
Oh, it was great. Yeah.
Seemed like you had a good one. Nothing but love.
Nothing but love.
It's all good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what do you think about the shit? The fight. Shit. We've got Tyson Fury.
We're going
We
to talk
got-
about fight stuff because we're on Gym Crashers.
Yeah. So we've got Tyson Fury
Tyson is furious.
and Brock and Cain Velasquez. They're rematching their infamous UFC title fight, but it's happening in Saudi Arabia for the WWE. What the fuck is that?
Wasn't that a New Year's fight a few years back, Brock and Kane? It was. It was New
Yeah,
Year's.
2 years back for the UFC
Right?
title.
Yeah.
Now this time it's going to be for the
And is it-
WWE title.
And is it in Saudi Arabia? Where is
It
it?
is in Saudi Arabia come Halloween.
What?
It's funny. Yes, yes, it is because.
I didn't know that WWE went to Saudi.
Oh yes, they do. And the first show or second show they did was right after the Khashoggi dismemberment. So.
Oh my goodness. That's
WWE, they like their money.
absolutely. Do you watch wrestling with Adam?
Sometimes.
Okay. Okay. So you're forced to watch it.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Got it.
Who's your favorite wrestler?
Hard pass.
Right? Who's your?
Oh.
Oh yeah.
But
If
Besides
Adam was going
Adam.
to dress up like your favorite wrestler, who would it be?
what would I be?
Right? Adam Hogan?
Fuck that guy.
No.
Rugrat
I
Adam.
guess between, well, you know,
Adam Rikishi?
I'm all about the Islanders, so.
Oh, Rakishi's an Islander, right? He's the one that shakes his butt in people's faces. That's Robert.
Rikishi actually
Robert,
showed-
you're
Rikishi was
Rakishi.
actually at Ray Rodis' show
Was
at
he?
Pico Rivera this past weekend.
I wanted to go to that
He knows Rikishi, but doesn't know Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Who?
He doesn't know.
because he shakes his
Jimmy
butt.
Superfly.
Jimmy Snowflake?
super fly.
He can't
Yeah,
hear.
yeah, exactly.
I know Flying Red Bastien too. You ever heard of that guy?
Yes, I have.
He's like a
That's
legend.
a legend. That's fucking Ric Flair's fucking kamikaze buddy.
I know his son.
Yeah.
Flying Red, Newport Beach, baby.
Oh,
He's gonna need some CBD all day long.
Yeah, if he was flying red, I imagine.
oh
For sure.
yeah, and some massage. What's the?
Oh yeah, shout out to our sponsors.
Look at
Word
that.
of mouth, fucking Cauliflower Nation, our live
All of a sudden he's
CBD
cussing.
massage matters, and
Yes,
all
it
seven.
does. It
'Cause,
matters.
Because they're all
Lots of
badass,
it.
and they sponsor this show. So fuck yeah.
And pretty soon, we can talk about if there's any other sponsors that want to get on for the next season. We'll be getting new sponsors next season, and there's already one that signed up already for next season. And it's
Okay.
Live CBD.
I don't know if anybody could hear that because he doesn't have a microphone, but we're going to repeat that for Robert. Our producer has told us that we are coming up on a new season. We're going to wrap up 2019 very shortly here. We're actually wrapping up in a complete decade. We're
A
moving into
decade.
2020, so the 10s are gone.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even realize, since we're not like in the 1900s where it's the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Mm-hmm.
The 10s, 20s, 30s is beyond me. Like, I'm all, that's a decade? And they're
Yeah.
right. It is a whole decade is
Yeah.
gone.
Wait, so like we're in the, I don't know, like the Industrial Revolution.
I don't know.
of this century. Or
We're
cen-
pre-World
centennial?
War III is what we are. Robert got married, I think, in 2010.
Okay,
I'm pretty damn sure it was 2010. So it's been 10 years that Robert's been married.
that's a weird crescendo. You went from World War III to Robert being married. Is there
Well,
a
it just,
correlation there?
you know, it's just the beginning of the century, so I'm blown away.
Wow.
Is there a correlation?
That's Woodstock and not me, Tina. Shoot him. She's going to kill you, dude.
I'm gonna get a fucking.
That's 4
shot
feet
put.
of anger coming after you.
Yeah, so
Be a dead man.
anyway, but yeah, fucking. Okay, so we've got Tyson Fury fighting.
Yeah, tell me about that. What does that mean? Is he a wrestler?
He's apparently going to do some sort of.
Wrestling?
Yeah, I mean the
For
advertised
WWE?
marquee matchup is him and this guy named Braun Strowman, who's a big mountain man.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't know how to describe Braun Strowman, but
Is he not famous already?
huh?
Braun Strowman? Have you heard of him?
I mean, if you like wrestling, he's kind of. I mean, if you like WWE wrestling,
Sure I do.
Yeah,
Well
but
enough.
He's a big gentleman.
Yeah.
he's a big Anglo gentleman with a
Oh.
beard and a weird haircut.
Got
And
it.
he's facing Tyson Fury,
Got it.
the lineal heavyweight champion of boxing.
Got it.
Yeah, and that's on the same card as Brock Lesnar, Cain Velasquez for the WWE title. Which
Will that
is weird to
attract-
fucking say.
Will that attract UFC viewers because it's Brock and Kane? That's the question. I don't know about all that.
Well, see, I think whatever correlation that from the UFC or MMA fans to the WWE, I think those were kind of dried up in Ronda going over to the WWE and CM Punk essentially going to the UFC. I think any kind of cross promotion, I don't think it has legs.
Got it.
You know, but I mean, what are the biggest names? I mean, on the same card, they've got Hogan and Flair kind of coaching a team of 5 that I don't know, man. It's
So-
just it's weird and convoluted. And I think if we were supposed to have like a Kane, well, the big thing that is happening in the MMA world in terms of Cain Velasquez is not only is he wrestling for the WWE, and he's done some sojourns in Mexico for AAA and did a couple shows for them, but he announced his retirement. And I think that's the biggest, like arguably one of the, definitively one of the top 5 UFC heavyweights basically just retired and went to wrestling.
So who steps up from here?
Well,
Is there a step up? Oh,
You've got
Stipe's
Stipe
there.
on top, but I mean, if you're looking at the central figures of MMA, I mean, in terms of people that aren't necessarily MMA fans, who are they going to recognize? Are they going to recognize a John Jones? Absolutely.
Sure.
Are they going to recognize a Conor McGregor? It doesn't matter when his last fight was or what the
Yeah.
outcome of that fight was. They're going to recognize him. They're going to recognize Ronda Rousey, right?
DC.
And maybe to a lesser extent, Gina Carano, even though she was.
That's a long time ago, but
That's
you're
a long
right.
time
At,
ago,
at
but
that
she's
time,
relevant
well,
in
she
terms-
was the biggest star at that time.
Yeah, but she was relevant in the instance of the fact that she's in movies,
And she fought Cyborg.
right? So, I mean, people do throw her name into the Google machine, and you know,
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, she fought, blah blah blah, right? So,
Boy, did
so there's
she.
that. So, is Stipe Miocic going to be that guy that's going to carry the heavyweight division. I mean, if we're looking at MMA like most people look at boxing, right? Most people say boxing is hot when the heavyweight division is on fire, right? And you could
Andy
you
Ruiz.
yeah, Andy Ruiz.
It's hot right
Tyson
now, right?
Fury, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua. There's 4 kingpins.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember a time in modern history where it's been like that. So for gauging UFC or the sport of MMA in that context, we've got Stipe Miocic. He's not the most dynamic guy. Not in the vein of a Brock Lesnar
Sure.
or a Cain Velasquez.
Yeah.
And I mean, Cain
Tough,
really,
tough to market him because he doesn't really talk a whole lot.
right. He's an everyday guy. He's
a fireman.
Rocky. He's the modern day Rocky. He's the legit equivalent of Rocky in terms of managing a full-time career as a firefighter in Ohio, and he's the world champion of the world. I mean, before his, his, I guess, trouncing of Daniel Cormier
Right.
this last time, he was the most winning UFC champion, heavyweight champion there was. I mean, had most
a lot.
consecutive title defenses, and then he basically beat his foe in convincing fashion, knocking out Daniel
I
Cormier.
expected better from Cormier. I wanted to see him win, but oh well.
Right.
It's done.
So with that being said, I mean, where does the UFC heavyweight division go from here?
Well, if all the stars are going to WWE, what does that leave us with?
I don't think necessarily all the stars are going to the WWE. I think the ones that have names are going there. I don't think everybody could make that kind of transition. And I think, mark my words, folks, I think Kane is going to have a tough time because you've got bombastic personalities. Kane was always a workhorse.
That's so
right?
true.
He was always a workhorse. He wasn't the most dynamic interview, but he was, I mean, when you're training with Habib, when you're training with John Fitch, under the tutelage of Javier Mendez, right? There's a certain credibility that Kane brought in his interviews at his time as UFC champion and his time during his entire MMA career. But that's not necessarily going to transfer over into the realm of WWE. I mean, when he debuted
But
at
it probably
Staples
brings the
Center-
Hispanic viewer that they're seeking.
But does he?
I don't know.
And that's the measuring stick that Vince is going to kind of wager out.
I
Is
guess,
he a
however,
big enough-
they market him in Mexico, right? Does he speak Spanish?
as
I don't
does Tito Ortiz, who's facing Alberto Del
Tito
Rio.
doesn't speak Spanish. He's from Huntington Beach.
Okay, but I mean, you've got him at. Speaking of, okay, so we've got Alberto Del Rio, right?
That's a big one coming up.
and
And
Tito Ortiz.
That brings
was
him to
announced
Combate.
for Combate Americas, Texas, right? So it's kind of weird that this MMA pro wrestling kind of, I don't know, cross promotion is happening. Because
Cross-pollination.
at a time where one would argue that there's never been more pro wrestling, there's never been more MMA, if you're a fan of it, to digest, and the numbers are actually down. You know, the numbers for UFC Fight Pass.
Is that because of saturation? What are we faced with now? There's so many promotions.
Yeah, so there's
Lack of stars. What do you blame them on?
Absolutely.
All of it?
All of it. All of the above. Lack of stars. Because, I mean, it's kind of weird and lineal how the UFC and WWE have gone in terms. When Conor was on top,
Sure.
when Ronda was on top, they didn't bother to develop everybody. Everybody else, whether it be a Liz Carmouche in the instance of Ronda or
They just fed 'em to the
Dash
wolves.
Correa, they were just right. Exactly, they were lambs to the slaughter. Right. So with that being, and the same thing with, we'll say with McGregor, right? That everybody that faced McGregor was essentially like McGregor was going to win, you know, and the aura of McGregor grew. But everybody else in the division, I mean, for 2 years, 2 divisions were held up because,
Those were exciting years.
right, absolutely, you know, and peak years for a lot of guys, and they didn't get their chance because Conor was essentially the kingpin of 2 divisions, right? And he went to fight Floyd. So with that all being said, I think we're at a time where there's so much MMA, so much pro wrestling, right? But there's no stars, no dynamic. Like, who can really capture the minds and the hearts and the souls of the pop culture lexicon? People who haven't heard of WWE, haven't heard of MMA or UFC, right?
That's why things are down.
And you're going to look at that person when they're walking down the street and go, "That's a star." Are you going to really say that about Stipe Miocic? I don't think so.
They may not
Especially
even
when the guy
recognize him.
holds this is the heavyweight champion of the world. Imagine if you saw Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali working a regular job. Does that
Unbelievable.
hurt?
Unbelievable, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So
it's kind of appalling because you're wondering what they get paid. You're like, is it even worth the knocks you take?
right, and one would argue that. One would argue that he's the John Mellencamp of MMA, where he's the everyday guy.
I
right?
like this, John
Right?
Mellencamp.
But is that going to capture people's hard-earned money every time that Stipe Miocic, is on the headline of a pay-per-view, or is coming to your town for a UFC title defense, right? Like, does that matter? And now that Stipe is back on top, lest we forget the entire time that he couldn't get a fight. He couldn't get a fight. And the only reason why the DC fight happened was because DC wanted Brock. Brock retired, basically busted a cane, right? Brock retired, went to the WWE, and there was nobody left. And DC wanted one more fight. So that's it. But he sat on the sidelines for a year. This is the winningest heavyweight champion in modern history.
Crazy.
But now we sing his praises because he knocked out whatever. But again, does that captivate people who aren't necessarily MMA fans? Does that make you any more compelled to buy an ESPN Plus subscription? And then after that $5,
There's too much of that going on, right?
everything is behind a paywall.
That's killing it.
Yeah.
That's killing it because you can't just catch it.
No, not at all. And then even if like third-party streams like YouTube or what, or live stream,
DAZN too, right?
Yeah, DAZN is what, $20 a month?
Extra money.
Right? Which, when you think about it, if you're a combat sports fan, right? If Fight Pass is $10, if WWE Network is whatever, what is on DAZN that's going to compel me to basically play the combination price?
Or maybe
for that.
people are just consuming what they view in that way now. Maybe we're old school thinking about TV, but people consume by streaming more and more so.
Can you tell me a DAZN fight card that would warrant you being in for a year?
No, I cannot.
And that's
Because
that's the
I
thing.
would get me a jailbroken Fire Stick.
But yeah, and that's essentially where we're going. And unfortunately, going back to your original question in terms of everybody in MMA making the jump, I think what we're seeing, I mean, it's just like The Rock, right? Where not everybody in wrestling can jump to movies. Right?
Superstardom.
Yeah,
John Cena's
absolutely.
doing a hell of a
I mean,
job.
Cena's doing it now, but I mean, look at everybody that's failed before. We had Hulk Hogan. There's a litany of
You
different.
think
people.
Hulk Hogan failed?
Failed miserably.
Really?
Mr. Nanny, Three Ninjas. Those are classics, right?
are great
Said
films.
no one ever.
But nobody ever watched him, huh?
No, hell no.
Nobody watched Three Ninjas? Did you watch Three Ninjas, Sean?
My son did, yeah.
See, there you go. So somebody did.
Somebody did, right? Somebody did, right? And
How
shout
about you,
out to,
Mrs. Spicy? Did you watch Three Ninjas?
Never seen it.
Never?
Suburban Commando?
Maybe I have. Wait.
Suburban-
Three Ninjas.
Suburban
It sounds
Commando?
familiar. Three
Adam Commando?
Oh,
That
Jesus.
one, no.
No, he doesn't go Commando.
You've
at all?
never
Oh.
seen Adam Commando?
Yes.
Yeah, she's never.
Is it-
seen
You make
that.
those
not-
children.
He's a little shy.
No, that's the dark hole. That's the fucking abyss.
The darkness comes upon
Yeah,
you.
that's the abyss. But yeah, so
Oh, no.
So, and this is, if you're a fighter, if you're trying to promote yourself, right? When you say you don't have a particular platform, or whether it be social media, whether it be, or I don't do interviews. I don't. These are things that may or may not have been said. in
Yeah,
the
but
past,
how do you
right?
grow your career?
How do you grow your career, right? And essentially, what happens when your career is over and you've got nothing?
You
right?
got nothing.
Because the thing about it, and I think it was Al Snow who said it about wrestling, where a wrestler can't not be fired. And I say wrestler, but it can be anybody, especially in combat sports, right? You cannot be fired because essentially the platform that you're giving, whether it be national or international TV, is essentially a commercial to sell yourself.
I like that.
Right? Your ability to connect with the fan base, the people that will pay their hard-earned money, whether it be at a pub at home watching the pay-per-view
That's what it's about. It's
at the
entertainment.
arena, right? An ass in every 18 inches, right? So you can't really get fired because as long as you are a draw, as long as you're a draw and can captivate the minds, hearts, and soul of the people watching you, you can't be fired. Look at Mighty Mouse,
Yeah.
right? He just won.
This
the
is a
Grand Prix.
lot like being a gladiator. If you actually won the hearts of the people, they couldn't actually put the thumbs down to get you killed in,
Right,
in the
absolutely.
Colosseum. It's much
Right.
the same thing.
So isn't it crazy that we've gotten here with all of our media advances, whether it be social media, technological advancements, and whatever, and we're at gladiator times
Yeah.
in the combat sports that
But
we're
we still consume things much the same way.
much the same way, right?
That's crazy.
So when you're like, oh, I only use a platform, or I don't do this and whatever, well, you can be the best fighter in the world, you can be the best you can do all of the flashy shit, right? And if no one sees it, what happens?
Absolutely
nothing. You love Bruce Lee, right?
I love Bruce Lee.
Is a
You have a great memory.
Right.
I gotta be careful what I say to this guy. He remembers shit. I don't
Yeah.
remember anything.
no, you're
Everything.
great. But Bruce Lee, right?
Yeah.
What if he did all of that cool shit, right?
Yeah.
Jeet Kune Do, the grappling under judo, Gene LeBell, and what have you, and nobody saw it. He didn't transfer it into whether it be the Green Hornet, the fucking Fist of Fury, all of the movies that we love, The Last Dragon, whatever. What if? I mean, that was the first time that I had ever seen MMA style gloves. Right?
Sure.
That was in the 70s, right? What if he never showed any of that?
I'd
That
be
was-
heartbroken.
Right, but that was the platform that he had at his disposal at the time, right?
Yep.
And one would argue that he's the one that created the sport of MMA.
Sure.
Right?
He was mixing things together before it was cool.
That shouldn't be. That was taboo for the time, right?
Yeah.
So when people say like, "Hey, I can do all of it. I'm a fucking world champion. Just let me whatever," but you can't compel people to pay to watch you.
Was Bruce Lee aware of the Gracies? Because he was issuing his challenges to different styles around the world. Was he aware that grappling had gotten as far as it had gotten down
Man,
there? Right?
I mean,
Because they're alive in the same time. I mean,
Absolutely.
Elio Gracie
Elio-
was alive.
Absolutely.
And at the top of his game, I would imagine, or Hickson even, for that matter. He was a young man, but he probably was doing his thing.
Well, no, I mean Hickson. I mean, at the time of Bruce Lee's height, I think Hickson was born he's barely like in his 50s because.
So that means he's born in the 60s.
Right. So I don't think there would have been a meeting.
Oh,
If
you're right.
there
You're right.
was,
Bruce
if
Lee
there-
was,
if-
at the peak of Bruce Lee was 72, 73.
72. Right. So I mean, Hoist was just kind of born.
You're right. You're right. It'd be more for the older guys, like
Right.
Elio or
absolutely. So,
Carlos.
yeah, Elio, Carlos. You know.
Those are his peers.
Yeah.
The
absolutely.
Machados.
Absolutely. So I don't.
How do you not be aware? I guess there was a dictatorship down there that held that up.
Well, you got to think about media, right? So at the times, radio and television, right? We're talking the 70s.
Big radio, right?
Yeah, 70s. People still didn't have television.
It was Howard
right?
Cosell.
Right. So with that being said, how would people know what's going on in Brazil from?
He was a pretty worldly guy.
He was a worldly guy, but I don't think any of his travels took him to Brazil. And
No, but
whatever-
there was Maeda,
yes,
who brought it down there. He had to have known of these guys that were bringing martial arts around the world because martial artists traded books, traded ideas, and he was about that.
Absolutely.
So there's nothing written about, there's nothing talked about at that time period of people that were learning of what, I mean, because look at the level of fighter it produced.
Yeah,
It changed everything.
No, absolutely. But I think if Bruce Lee would have learned anything about that, his kind of conduit to that whole kind of spectrum of martial arts would have been Judo Gene LeBell.
Oh, that's true. But
right,
Judo, Gene LeBell would have known.
Right.
So that's the guy to ask.
That's the guy to ask.
There's the question we need to pin down for Gene LeBell because he would know.
Too bad he's retired from refereeing.
I know, but we see
Yeah.
him from time to time. I'm going to ask him about that. Or maybe even Gokor,
Gokor would be it.
right?
Yeah.
For Southern California, Gokor is the guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Gokor, Benny the Jet.
Oh, Benny the Jet would know. Yeah.
absolutely.
But maybe not. Some of those guys will be more leaning towards Bruce and his style. I want to hear the truth.
I think you'd get it from Gene if and in
He's gonna be
interviews-
very grappling
in interviews
focused.
that I've seen with Gene, I don't think anybody has asked him in terms of what I guess his knowledge is of grappling is beyond judo. And the reason why I say that is because I would think that he would be familiar with old school shooters, considering
Oh,
that
yeah.
his
He'll school
mom-
us.
His mom, Eileen Eaton,
Yeah.
ran the LA pro wrestling territory.
He'll know all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. He would know names like Ad Sansel and Billy Robinson.
We need to have this conversation, Woods. We need to make this happen.
Yeah, I think we Jim
Right?
Crash,
There's a bunch of
Gokur's
stuff.
does that.
Yeah. I don't know about Gokur's, but let's find out where he's getting his pastrami and hang out with him and talk to
No,
him.
last
Highest
I
time.
went there. Last I went there,
Gene was there?
Judo Gene and Benny the Jet both held offices at
Oh, I had no idea.
at Highest
So
Time
Benny the
MMA
Jet
and
is a
was all-
grappler, is what you're telling me, because I only know him as a kung fu karate man style fighting.
No, they like I said, the last time that I went down to Highest Time MMA, they both held offices there.
What about Chuck Norris?
I don't know Chuck Norris.
No grappling.
He's selling those ab crunch roller thingies.
They make hella money.
Yeah. So
Come up
there's
with a
that.
device.
Makes money.
It makes money.
But
Makes
again,
mama happy.
dude.
Your job is to make mama happy.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Bring home
so
the
I mean,
bacon.
speaking of, right?
Mama's here.
Speaking of, right? Going back to our being able to connect conversation in terms of fighters and what have
Yeah.
you, right? Look at George Foreman. Look at Chuck Norris, right? They can sell everything. Chuck Norris is a pop culture hero without like the him in Bruce Lee movies or
True.
Walker Texas Rangers. There's a generation that just knows him primarily from memes.
That's it.
Right? That's it. What does Chuck Norris do?
Yeah.
Right? How many of current day fighters can have that crossover appeal where they're pop
Zero.
culture?
Maybe Connor. Maybe Rhonda.
I want to say that there will be an outlet of people. Look at, there's a generation of people that never knew that George Foreman was a boxer. They just know him from his grills.
Yep.
That's crazy.
You can make a
but
burger.
it's truth to some people, right? So with that being said, like who is going to take that? To me, I see there's this big power vacuum in MMA in terms of MMA needs a star because to sell pay-per-views, to do anything, this expansion that Dana White is, kind of in, the reason why the UFC sold for $3.8 billion, the reason why Viacom bought Bellator, the reason why Sony is all in with one championship in Asia is because they're looking for a star. Nobody has the formula to build the star yet. And for any fighter that's out there, listen and listen good, there's money to be made. They need you. They're not going to tell you. No promoter is going to tell you that they need you. But to fill this insatiable appetite that us fans have, us diehards have, and then also to connect to a new audience that might not even know what the sport that we're doing is, they need a star.
They do. They need to put it in the Coliseum. In
The
it-
LA Coliseum?
In Italy.
There's a Coliseum
No,
around
the,
here
the
show
real.
with Roy
I love
Cooper.
that. That was awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean,
It's happening.
you can't say that it hasn't been done.
That's true.
And then, what is it? The Brock Lesnar's MMA debut is at the LA Coliseum.
I love that.
Yeah. What was it? K1?
K1.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not to say that it hasn't been done. It's just, I don't know. Is it an actual Coliseum that we need to have, or is it somebody needs to? If the in is being a crossover sensation, right? We need somebody to slay that lion.
Or how far are we away from putting people into a cage with animals?
Ew.
I think that's no.
It
no,
could happen. It could
I don't-
possibly.
I don't
It's
think so.
happened in the
I
past.
know.
People have done it.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering how far are we from that?
I hope not. You know what? It's actually funny to bring up Comic-Con again. There's a VR panel. Right?
What is that? Virtual reality.
Virtual reality. They were talking about virtual reality.
Does he bring this
and-
stuff home and talk to you about it? And you're like, hey,
Shut my
VR.
mouth because
VR, baby.
yeah.
So sexy.
Right? That's why he has a tiger
And
on his
augmented
pants.
reality, like Pokemon Go, in layman's terms. So, I think we're closer to see virtual fighters. Pardon the pun. Because there was a video game based on virtual fighters. But we'll see virtual fighters before we see the
Animals.
concept of fighting animals. Because PETA's out there, and you don't want to get
Is
stuck in.
virtual fighters kind of like fantasy football?
No, I'm talking about what if let's say if the government took a hard stance on violence, right? Much like they did in the early 90s, right? Against the UFC,
Sure.
right?
There's almost
that
nowhere
could
to
happen
fight.
again, right? All it takes is one person to get hurt, violently hurt, or what have you, and they're like, you know what? We're not going to do this. But the UFC will have enough money, WME, all of the kind of powers that be are being, and essentially what ends up happening is like, oh, if you still want to have your Ultimate Fighting Championship, you can do it, but you can't use real people, and it's going to be like CGI.
I like it.
Yeah,
Might be interesting.
yeah. In fact, they actually did the Ultimate Warrior. No, not the Ultimate Warrior. The Deadliest Warrior. It was a show on Spike TV.
I like that show.
Yeah, right. We all remember that.
That's
where
cool.
They basically pit.
It was like
you
Fight
know-
Science.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to get closer to that in the next 10 years.
Mark his words. He's prophetic.
Just saying.
We got Mrs. Spicy in house. Is there anything you want to talk to her about? I know you talk to her quite a bit, but
Yeah.
I'm so happy to have her here.
Yeah.
I don't want to ignore our star here for the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had no guests, and then we all of a sudden have one.
Yeah, so.
What's the fight history in your family? Was your dad a boxer, karate guy?
My dad? No. He's the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, he's a big guy.
Oh, well, yeah.
I love it.
He likes to work out.
That's cool.
That's his thing. My
Working out's
brother
good.
works out. Let's see, everybody, they're all into muscle.
Got it. So body versus punching people in the face.
Oh, they can do that too.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they can get down.
Get down.
But yeah,
Cool.
more lovers than fighters.
I hear you.
Huh?
Did you get initiated?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did
No.
Adam get initiated into the family? I need to hear this.
Your mom is the one who initiated me.
What, my mom?
Yeah, I met your mom before
Well,
anybody else.
Yeah, true.
Your mom and your
true.
brother.
So how'd that happen? Adam came over to the family house and said, "I'd like
Yeah,
to.
tell her the
I'd
story.
like to have your daughter's hand
How
in
I
marriage."
ended up after living in England for
This is compelling information here.
14 years. Never had a record, but what? 24 hours in Bakersfield. Where am I?
This is the
Oh,
first episode of
no.
Love Crashers.
Adam.
We're crashing into the love life of the Woods
Mm-hmm.
family. So, and where did
So-
you?
You want me to talk about the first day we
Absolutely.
came to Bakersfield?
Absolutely. Because they're asking about initiation.
You guys stopped off at Tommy Burgers, got a chili fry.
No,
What happened?
No, we don't
my
have a-
brother, and who else? Mara,
Yeah, my sister.
his sister came. We all went out,
In Bakersfield?
and oh yeah,
Cow
we
tipping?
had these. No,
Just kidding.
raw.
As you know, you can't leave any empty space. We also-
No, that's for later.
Okay, no cow tipping.
Wow, 10 points.
Just kidding. No, we all went to, what was it?
Some bars.
Chewy's.
Okay.
Chewy's.
Yeah.
We're at Chewy's,
got a good
and we
name.
had these fun little fruity drinks
Oh,
all night. Got really tipsy, and so
Adam lost his
somebody
virginity.
somebody decides to drive, right? Because he's the
Oh,
better one. Because
shoot.
Mr. Spicy here couldn't. Yeah.
So he manned
Now,
up.
mind you, the
So,
whole
well-
night, I continue to hear, hey, our family name, we can hold our liquor. We can hold our liquor. We can hold our liquor. So what happened?
You held your liquor.
Adam did.
I don't even know what that statement means. At some point, we all fall
I don't
apart.
know. I don't know either.
Right?
But my brother, all I know is my brother kept saying he wanted to go home. So this one drove because I couldn't drive. He drove so far. And we go on the side of Bakersfield that's
Very tolerant towards people of my kind, right?
that we got pulled over. And
Oh, is that an issue?
we got
Yeah.
oh god,
Somebody
yeah.
with a pillowcase
Hey,
got you?
what is it? The 08ers? Oildale represent?
Right?
What you guys know about
Yay.
that?
Anyway.
You don't look like you're from Tehachapi, son.
No,
Anyway,
don't
no.
touch my pee anywhere. Anyway,
It's nice there.
There you go.
Anyway.
Sure it is. So Adam's
So
out there.
we
and
get
he's the only
pulled
one?
over, and well, Adam doesn't have a license.
Oh, they don't give those in Fiji.
So my big mouth.
It's
So Adam's on the curb.
Oh, you got
Basically-
curbed.
They talk to him, put him on the curb,
Right.
and Mr. Little Latino over here, and I'm, feeling too good, but I'm not happy
Oh,
about this
oh.
because I'm seeing my man sitting
That's
on the
right.
curb.
Sammy Sosa got
So,
curbed.
and then, of course, the part of town that we're in, it's not very
Tolerant.
it's not very tolerant of
I didn't know they still had
people
that kind
of
of thing.
color. So,
Oh.
and I knew what it was about. But I have family members that lived on that side of town.
Yeah.
Never had a problem.
Of course.
But
But they have
it doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
they have
So
licenses though.
we get pulled over,
They're not
and
from
then
Inglewood.
my big mouth tells the officer, "You should be ashamed of yourself," because I know what this is about. It's
Oh.
because my husband is black, and
Oh,
I
he was
kept going.
Was he already your husband at that time?
No, but don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. That's
So-
a damn good story. So.
I'm making sure. I'm trying to figure out where we're at in the relationship.
Anyway,
Okay.
so
You ain't gonna hurt my chocolate.
So
Sugar.
the other officers are telling you need to like just calm down, blah blah blah. And I
We're
was
not
like,
gonna
well,
hurt
I
him.
know what this is about. So anyway, yeah. So
What
he
was
goes,
it about?
okay. He goes, I was gonna let you go home,
Uh-oh. Now you're
Right.
both going to jail.
and he goes, but now I'm gonna
Impound your
the
car
car,
and take his
and
ass
they
with you.
took my hubby
Oh, you got
into
him
the
locked
car,
up.
and I was wanting to go with him.
Oh.
I was like, he can't go to jail by himself.
But why would they take you
I'll
to
go
jail,
with
Adam?
them.
Because you didn't have a
No.
license, or because
Yeah.
you were drinking?
Yeah.
Both.
A little bit of both, but
Oh, so they got you.
but they didn't get him for drunk driving.
That's good.
Because I still blew under.
Because he was way under. So
That's good.
Don't drink and drive, folks.
No.
But long story short, I ended up now. Before we had went out, I saw a story about this high school wrestler that made it to states, and he was a badass or whatever. Guess what? I found that same dude in the jail cell with me,
And you interviewed
and
him.
he was cowering
of course.
under the bench.
Why?
Because I was the only black guy. He thought I was going to save him, but he didn't hear me
Oh,
talk.
he thought you were going to take
Yeah.
his manhood from him.
Maybe.
He's
maybe.
all, oh no,
But anywho,
Mr. Woods,
So-
please.
he's cowering in fear. Then they transfer us to a cell above, and there's like, "Don't let me die in here," in brown ink. And I was like, they confiscate like paints and shit like that. And I realized, oh, it's not
blood.
paint, it's shit.
Oh, I thought it was blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, they wrote it in
There-
caca.
Anywho, so
So my
basically,
first-
the next morning they released him.
Uh-huh.
I get a call, and he's telling me, "Honey, they're letting me go. I need you to pick me up over here."
oh yeah,
and
because
he's
the money
describing.
that I had, they gave it to me in a check.
Oh,
So
She has my ID.
I didn't know you had an
So
ID.
while he's describing to me where he's at, I finally realized where he's at. And I go, oh my God. I'm going on about, oh my God, this is the liquor store by my old high school and
She's
blah, blah,
reminiscing.
blah. And this man is like on time,
Oh, yeah.
like trying to call me.
He's like, can you hurry? They're
Can
putting
you
on the
just
pillowcases
hurry up?
again.
Yeah, and I just keep going on and on. I'm
I
like,
ended
oh,
up
wow.
walking from downtown Bakersfield to Oildale. So if you're in the Bakersfield area, you know the distance.
7 miles?
That's probably about 5 miles for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a long way.
Yeah. So
Oh, out there, yeah, everything's far.
yeah.
It's a long way.
Yeah. So
But everybody, just to make this short, everybody, like mainly everybody, they get pulled over over
Wow.
there.
Wow. I'm going to stay out of there now that I know that it's
But
pillowcase
just,
friendly.
it just happened.
That's
We've never been in trouble. Never
good.
until
You're good people.
But we walked first day into
yeah,
that
exactly.
town.
Just take the Fiji.
That's what happened.
These
There you
guys
go.
are amazing. God
Yeah.
bless them. She just had her wonderful 25th birthday.
There you go. And yeah.
You know,
So, yeah. Got anything, guy? Where
I-
can they find you on social media?
Dondo the Gym Crasher on the Insta and John Dondo on the Facebook.
Yeah, the Book of Faces, right? And
Yeah.
I'm According to Woods.
And this is Mrs. Spicy in
Yeah.
between us.
Yeah, there you go. And that's this week's Gym Crashers. Join us.
That was good, Woods. You
Yeah.
did good.
No, you did good.
No,
'cause
I just try to
this
keep
guy-
up with you. I was
this
asleep.
guy
Sleep at the
is-
wheel.
Man,
Sleep at the wheel.
don't. That's
You're amazing.
Oh wait, do you want to know the #1 drinking song in Bakersfield?
99 bottles of beer on the wall. 99 bottles of beer.
Jesus,
No?
take the wheel. And we're out.
What does Jesus take the wheel?
I don't-
Jesus